What is up, everyone? Welcome to the latest review for the show Silo on Apple TV. I'm about a week behind on my reviews, so I apologize for this. But lots of stuff going on. I know these episodes come out, I think on Fridays, if I remember correctly. But this is episode 4, and episode 5, I think, is airing tonight. So I gotta, I gotta hurry up and get caught up. But if you've been following along, I have been reviewing this it's a dystopian sci-fi show on Apple TV that's based on a book series which I've never read, which is good for me because that means I'm not tied up in any of the antics regarding whether or not this is a faithful adaptation or not. I can actually just focus on whether or not it's entertaining to me as a viewer, and so far it is. It's been a very entertaining ride. This episode is episode 4. We're halfway through the first season, and we did finally get some, I don't want to say answers, but we got some sort of answers. So that was a good thing. We're moving the story forward a little bit and starting to wrap up some of the various puzzle boxes that were opened during the first 3 episodes. Um, if you've never watched one of my reviews before, I don't do spoiler free. Everything is about the show in its entirety. So if you don't want things spoiled, I mean, I'm a week behind schedule at this point, behind the show. So there shouldn't theoretically be any spoilers unless you're someone who waits a month for things to come out and binge watches. So bear that in mind. Without further ado, though, we're going to get into it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're back to, time jumping in this episode. That seems to be a common theme in this show. So Juliette is giving us glimpses of her past life and how that shaped her into the woman she is today. Um, so apparently, something happened with her younger brother, and then her mother. I'm assuming because there's a sequence of events that make me believe that the son perhaps died, and then the mother committed suicide. I don't know. Um, that's what I think happened. And then the father just can't react. By the way, he's played by this brilliant. I think he might be a Scottish actor. Ian Glenn, I think is his name. He was in Game of Thrones and Resident Evil and Tomb Raider, and he's been in a bunch of stuff over the years. He was in a really good like detective show that my wife really loved with him. Anyway, he's here as the dad who's the doctor, and he just sort of disconnects when this happens to the kids, and he leaves the daughter, who's I don't know, probably 14 years old or something at the time, to sort of clean up the mess and deal with getting rid of all of their things and all the things that the kid shouldn't have to do. And as a result, she just decides that she's gonna peace out and go do her own thing, and she goes down, down to the depths of the silo and gets a job working for the old lady who's never come out of her shack, area. The lady who has the radio and is like her mentor in the adult version of Juliette. Can't remember her name. Anyway, and you know, Dad realizes that she's gonna be happier there, and they have a sort of, you know, I wouldn't call it it's just sort of a sad parting, but also they both realize that it's for the best. And even though there is some semblance of love there, there's not an actual relationship, and there's not enough love there for it to do anything with. So it's a separation of everything, and that's why when we met her father, I think it was the episode previous or maybe the one before that, they hadn't spoken since that day, and we do get a glimpse of her here in the modern era of standing outside where he works, and it looks like she almost goes in to talk to him about and doesn't do it. So they're estranged. Um, but that helps play into what defined her growing up, is she had to learn from a very early age to fend for herself. And so that has made her into the independent woman she is today, which is why she's perfect for the position of the sheriff, because she's got that, self drive to survive inside of her. She does start to get a relationship with, build a relationship with the deputy. I'm gonna blank on his name. It starts with an M. He obviously suspects that the mayor was poisoned. He wants to prove it. She says, "Look, you help me figure out what happened to George. The programmer guy who had the hard drive that Holsten was looking after, and I'll help you figure out what happens to the mayor." So it becomes this reluctant partnership of mutual benefit, where they're going to be working with each other to each get their own ends out of it. So, but at the very least, they're working together, and he does become to realize that she's the right fit for the job, especially when Common's character shows up from the judicial side of things and sort of prompts the deputy and says, "Look, we got the paperwork ready. Um, all you got to do is sign it, and she will be out as the sheriff tomorrow. And this other guy that we wanted in the first place can be in. It's that easy." And he's like, "No, I think we'll let her. Holster wanted her for the job. We'll let her fail in her own right." But he's not looking at the guy when he's looking into the sink when he says it. So he obviously, he doesn't want to get, the deputy doesn't want to get rid of Juliette. Molston, is that his name? No, Holston and Molston. That's not right. I know it starts with an M, and I don't remember the guy's name. It's Will's character. He's playing a great job as this old, battered old man who's just losing his shit because his lover died, and wants to figure it out. So, the two of them are an unlikely alliance, but it looks like it's going to work out in the long run. A couple of important things that happened during this episode. One, the soon-to-be mayor swears her into office, and it kind of looks like he, at least on the surface, I don't know if this is true, but he seems to be trusting her, even though she wasn't his first pick for the job. But I don't know if that's true because they were also willing to send her on her way if the deputy will sign paperwork. So I don't know. Is he behind the poisonings? I also don't know. I don't think anybody knows at this point who's behind the poisoning of the mayor. We seem to have definitely moved beyond the Holsten equation now. Excuse me. And we are into figuring out what happened to George, which theoretically will turn around and lead back to what happened to Holsten and Holsten's wife. We'll see though. Um, the acceptance of her new role leads Juliet to getting, her digs and getting access to Holston's apartment, and she does find what Holston left behind in the air conditioning vent, which turns out to be the folder with George's file in it. Also, while this is taking place, somebody attacks the deputy and attempts to assassinate him, and that kind of left us on a cliffhanger where the guy's just staring down the barrel of a shotgun at the deputy, and we're just kind of left with that, sequence. So, um, we did get some answers though, in the sense that at least we know what's in that air conditioning vent. We found that out. That's a mystery that's been solved. Um, it looks like Common's character at least knows the sheriff and has some sort of a background with him. The deputy, sorry, with the deputy. And they have a moment in the apartment where we're let in a little bit on that. So they've obviously have a little bit. It looks like they have mutual respect for each other, and they've grown up together, so they know each other. Um, yeah, I think overall we started to tie off some of these mysteries that have become these knots. I think we're starting to unravel and tie some other stuff up as well. Because we did get a tidbit of information. We kind of progressed all the storylines a little bit in today's episode. Um, and I feel like with the revelation that she at least has the paperwork in her hands now, we can go from here and start actually working on solving some of the mysteries. She still needs to get the hard drive, figure out what's in the water. The problem is there's only 3 more episodes left. They've only got sorry, 4 more episodes left. They've only got 4 more episodes to wrap this up. That's not a lot of runtime to answer some of these questions. So I feel like I'm going to be left wanting when we get to the end of this. Of course, that remains to be seen. I can't predict how the next 4 episodes will pan out. But I have so many questions that need answering. It's like, I guess we're going to see how this goes. In any case, like, subscribe, hit that bell icon if you want more. Watch the show if you haven't already, and I'll be back with episode 5 soon. See you guys.